Welcome back to Hour 2 of Roleplay Blades. We're currently engaged in some downtime after an operation. And you said there was something, John, about the tattooing. You want to tell Anne?
Yeah, Rune's been getting her advice by taking these psychedelic tattoo inks into her body that give a kind of high when they're administered, and then they leave a fading sort of animated tattoo on the skin. I know you've gotten Leviathan tentacles and stuff, I think, at one point, and I forget all the different designs we've gotten up to now, but the other thing of note that you and Careless learned is this tattoo parlor is kind of a front for this gang of hawkers, the Bloodletters, who trade in these weird tattoos. That's one of their main products. And there's kind of two grades. There's like the normal tattoos, which have very little of this substance. And then there are the fancy ones, the expensive, powerful, drug trippy ones that are permanent also. The ink is permanent. And you've heard through the grapevine that they have attracted a client of nobility to afford these fancy designs and fancy inks. And when you and Careless were there prowling around in their basement, you discovered their supply of raw Leviathan blood that they use in the inks, and also a demon pool, sea demon pool, summoning pool, which was consecrated to Satara, the sea demon, the Careless firm's enemy. So this time when you go, Rune, you've been a regular customer for a while, and Cyclops, the one-eyed lieutenant of the Bloodletters, who kind of runs the tattoo parlor, this time when the artist comes out with his normal set of inks, Cyclops comes up behind him and kind of like taps him out on the shoulder, and they trade places, and Cyclops sits down, and he has this different bottle with him that vibrates inside your mind when you see it as a whisper. Rune, you recognize like the amount of demon blood in this, and the concoction has been made by some ritual practice. This is obviously the good stuff. And Cyclops holds it out to you like you've been a good customer. He doesn't say anything. He knows you understand, but he holds it out to you like, basically, on the house, we have the good stuff for you now. But you can sense it, and some part of your mind is like aware of the basement and the pool and Satara, and the connection to her and all that. But you know that it's also going to be like way better than what you've been getting so far, as a high, and he's offering it to you for free. Do you want to take him up on that, or are you going to turn him down?
I'll try anything once, darling.
Nice. Yeah, he grins broadly, and he rolls up his sleeves to do the work, and you see that he has some of these himself. He has these like rolling black waves that coil around his forearms, and there's black lightning arcs through them occasionally across his skin. So he's kind of showing off like, yeah, look, this is what you get. These are awesome,
Yeah.
So you're gonna go for the good stuff. I'm gonna start a clock for you, which is Satara's blood. And you've indulged in that once. Or if you want to, you can go deeper if you want. You can get one treatment right, or you can be like, hey, go ahead, like let's do it up. Give me more. But
do I get to know how many segments this clock is?
It's 4 segments, and you as a whisper know like there's some kind of demon blood magic happening here. You don't know the exact details of the ritual, but as soon as the tattooing process begins, you feel the demon blood go through your system, and you have that kind of a similar experience to what you had with Careless, where you see into the black water and deep down under the waves, there's a presence floating in the darkness of the sea demon, and you're feeling this like connection start to form between you. When the clock is full, that connection will become complete, and you'll have access to Satara in some way. You'll be able to do whisper shit with her, basically.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, but if I go again, it's all overindulge, right?
You will. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't want to overindulge.
Okay.
So I don't want to do that. Yeah.
Just the one.
Yeah, just the one. One of
Cool.
4.
All right. Yeah. So you have a really good trip, and are out of it experiencing this euphoria during the tattooing, but it's just a momentary glimpse of the Satara connection, and then that fades away and turns into this blissful high that lasts even beyond when you go back to the library. You're like walking on air going back. You're just completely oh.
Can I use my second downtime action to discover weakness of Skurlock? I still have 2, 4, 5 segments of this 8-segment clock.
Yeah. You can indeed. What would you like to do?
Well, when we went to White Crown, we had talked about finding or attempting to find like marks on people's necks, which we didn't do, and I'm pretty sure we left, right?
Do you want to do a flashback or something?
Sure. Could we do like I can attune or something while we're on our way out?
Just
Yeah.
kill him just in a flashback.
Yeah, we can totally jump back to, because there was that sequence where there was like a cat and mouse thing where you guys weren't really like sneaking out of White Crown. You were kind of like walking confidently around and avoiding scrutiny. So maybe we cut back to that moment where maybe you guys have to split up briefly to get out of across to the bridge, and we see Rune by herself momentarily out on the streets of White Crown, basically in the hunting grounds that were described to you. You're in the general right area. So yeah, you want to try to attune to the ghost field, see if you can like hone in on a victim.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can totally do that.
Cool. Position? Control?
Yep, controlled.
Standard?
And standard effect, yeah. It would normally be 0 effect against Skurlock here, but you have special insight. So
Mini crit.
5.
Mini yeah, so that's 2 more ticks. What is that? 3 away? Yeah.
2 more? Yeah.
Yeah. And since you have this opportunity, if you want to, you can take another activity to kind of double down on this. If you wanted to try to finish it off, you could.
Yeah.
Drop a coin on that or something.
I'll do that. Yeah. Use a coin.
You'll need a 6 to finish it off, but it's worth a shot.
Yeah. Standard. Nope. 2 5s.
Close.
So we're at 7 of 8. Damn.
I mean, you can just finish it if you want. You are rich right now, so maybe dropping money doesn't matter to you.
I can drop another one to not even go down my lifestyle thing too. We just got a bunch of money from that.
Yeah, you do have a lot of money.
All right, fine.
All right, 1 more coin.
1 more.
And you do it. So yeah, I think in this case the money might represent Rune has acquired some potent whisper drugs of some kind, like some really good Black Lotus or something along those lines. Maybe we see you. You tell me, Anne, but this is my idea. Maybe we see you in this moment when you're attuning, like or maybe it's Quicksilver. That's like the real hardcore like magic drug that supercharges you. Maybe we see you instead of your normal little Quicksilver vial, you have this really expensive, potent version of it that you imbibe, and we see your rune like glow way brighter than normal, and your eyes crackle with power. And the security system of White Crown, the like suppressive ghost field thing that they have laid over the district, just parts to Rune's power, and you get this really clear picture across the hunting ground here. And you don't just see one, you see like several glowing glyphs, Hadrathi symbols, on the back of the necks of these victims. There's 4 of them, and you see them walking. You see their ghostly outlines in the ghost field, and when you concentrate on them, you get a pretty clear picture in your mind's eye of who they are. There's 3 men and a woman. They're all nobility. One of them works also at Duskfall Academy. They're our professor or something, maybe. They're over in the faculty building. One of them is a guard commander for the White Crown security team, the like elite blue coats that ride cavalry horses and wear armor and stuff. You see them prancing along in his finery with his helmet and his big plume trailing behind him. One of them is a banker. You see them in the huge White Crown bank with its vaults all underneath in the ground. And the last one, the woman, she's an occultist, it seems. You peek in on her in this beautiful mansion. One of the ballrooms of the mansion is decked out with magic runes drawn on the floor and ceiling. There's a demon bone chair in the center. She's sitting in it doing some kind of magic. So you basically get this like drone view of White Crown flying around through the ghost field, and you spot all of Skurlock's victims, and you can kind of tell. It's hard to pinpoint where he is, but you can tell that they're all connected to him. They have these sort of tendrils going out from them, leading off into the darkness of the ghost field. Wherever Skurlock is, he's like obscured himself from easy detection, but you can tell that they're each connected directly to him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Cool. Did you want to do anything else, or are you satisfied with your discovery?
I mean, do I need to do anything in terms, like mechanically, to see if there's anything useful in Valken's notebook that I took?
Oh no, you don't.
Cool.
You can just look through it.
Cool.
Yeah, it's not encoded or anything. She wasn't thinking that somebody would get a hold of it.
Murdered.
Yeah.
You never expect to get murdered.
Yeah, you really don't. You really don't. It's mostly notes for her class and for her theory. She has a bunch of ideas about void sea navigation that are like esoteric and weird to you. They don't really make a lot of sense. The interesting thing to the last word is she's recorded transactions with Commander Oris in terms of the human trafficking. Like it's just bold. It says like it has delivery dates and how many people were delivered and where. And she has notes confirming that Oris paid XYZ and gave her money for the next operation. And you can tell from the notebook it's pretty rare. Like they're spaced way out. There's some at the beginning and then a bunch of pages of navigation notes and stuff, and then another one. Seems like they do this every couple of years or something. It's not a regular event, but it's always 17 people. It's always the same number of victims, and then the capture date and the delivery date is the same in the year, the same like time. So that definitely like twigs your whispery mind, like, this is significant. It's a ritualistic number. It's a consecrated day or something like that. They must be doing something along those lines with these people.
Okay.
For whatever reason, they were capturing these people. It probably has to do with some kind of magic ritual.
Do we know if Velkin has any ties to any kind of like Satara or like religiously, like what I don't know if we know any of that information.
Yeah, you know that she's definitely connected to the Path of Echoes and the people that are trying to ascend to the spirit world. And Lord Sucre's thing where he was doing like weird experiments in the Deathlands his lab out there.
Right.
She's definitely connected to all of that, and it's possible that these deliveries were ultimately going out there or going to Sucre's place. Like the timeline basically makes sense for that to be true. It doesn't say like, and then I took them to this place. She's just delivering them to Oris, her superior. But it's not a crazy leap to think that that's probably where Sucre was getting his raw materials, or volunteers or whatever they are, for those experiments. And you know that Belle was taken on one of those captures,
Mm-hmm.
and that she was interested in that stuff. So, that's a weird coincidence. Was she a true victim? Was she there on purpose? Was she trying to get grabbed up by these people? Or you don't really know, but all of that fits, I would say. If you want to make a study roll, you have enough information like from the conspiracy and stuff to draw some really strong conclusions, I think.
Okay.
And I can just tell you instead of being vague about it.
Okay. What's my position?
Controlled and standard.
3. No.
3. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you have those. What I said. You have like strong impressions and a general shape of what's going on.
Okay.
But you don't know for sure.
Cool. That's it for me.
Okay.
I did a lot of stuff.
I'll go.
Okay.
So I just there's two things I guess I want to do. I want to indulge my vice, and then I want to work towards my gambling den. Yeah, that's what I want to do.
Okay.
Together. I don't know if I should attempt to do them on sort of the same run, or what you think I need to do to continue to fill some ticks on my clock for that. But
yeah, I think it makes sense. I mean, your vice is gambling, and you're trying to get this gambling den from.
Yeah, and there's I guess there's a couple reasons too, right? Because we have this like growing revolution, and then also I sort of need a place where I can kind of do more dealings with the artifacts. So I'm just like, if I finish this den, then it sort of serves multiple purposes for me.
Yeah, totally. I think I can offer an obvious devil's bargain with the working towards the den here, which is that last tick on the revolutionary clock. I think you could definitely lean on your new reputation or fame or whatever. The gambling den owner is probably going to feel a lot more pressure if he knows that you've got the backing of this new group of revolutionaries. It's not just Miss Cataby alone asking, but it's like, it would be better for everyone if that kind of thing.
Right.
But that would mean the really cementing your role as their leader.
Right.
I came up with the best name. Ready? Wait.
Yep.
The Good Investments.
Wow. Oh man.
Yeah. This
And that's it for Blades, everyone. Thanks so much for
Goodbye. Thank you.
Gotta go out on a high note.
Yeah. So how should I tackle this? Should I just do my indulge vice first, or?
Sure. Yeah. Let's do that first.
Okay.
Some gambling, and then casually bring up the idea of taking over the place again.
5. All right. Leaves me with 1 stress.
Nice. Oh,
That's cool.
I mismarked on your sheet here. Yeah,
I had the extra 2 before.
Right.
So.
Cool. And yeah, so have you decided you are going to use the revolutionaries,
Um,
or you're not?
how would using them versus not kind of affect my roll potential?
I'll give you a bonus die if you use them.
Okay. Well, that's sort of my devil's bargain. That's
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna go for it.
So this is 6 o'clock that we have for this. You've got 3 done on it. So a 6 here will finish it off. And I think you've been consorting up to now as your method of approach. You're kind of like making a deal with the current gambling den owner to expand and have card rooms and kind of take over as a partner. And it's been pretty friendly. If you don't want to change tactics, I think it's still probably consorting with him. You have the opportunity now because of the revolutionaries. If you wanted to command him, you could. You could be like, look, this is how it's going to be now. Tough shit. But if you want to stay friendly and keep it as a friendly interaction, you could do that too.
Yeah, I think we want to still. I don't want to. I'm being vicious, but in a totally I am manipulating way, and not a I am forcing this on you way.
I see.
Is the way I see it. Yeah.
Yeah. You're making it seem like you're friendly, but really you're just taking this guy's business away from under him.
Right.
Yeah. So he's not actually going to be your partner. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I mean, like,
out of the deal.
There's a difference between a partner and who actually runs the place. So that's kind of how it's being positioned.
Okay, I got it. Cool. So take your consort roll with +1.
All right. And I assume this is just controlled.
Yeah, controlled and standard.
The +1.
Bam!
Well.
Yes!
Well.
Yes!
Gotta give him something good for that, John. That's 3 6s.
Holy.
That's nuts.
Yes. The guy realizes, like, actually, I'm not cut out for this at all. Like, you're.
I think so. Yeah. Holy jeez. Jeez.
You know what? I think actually the way that I would love for it to play out is that I convince him that he should gamble me for the place. That we should put it on, let's let Lady Luck decide the fate of this.
Nice. I like that. Yeah, we see him. He's like sweating. And he's feeling this pressure that I think maybe he's even realizing that this deal is not going his way. He's been outplayed by you up to now. He's kind of made agreements that he shouldn't have. And now there's this, he looks around the room and like he sees the flash of green under several people's coats. And instead of playing cards, they're all looking at him. And so when Miss Cataby's like, you know what, why don't we just play a game for it? Then he's like, okay, deal. He's like super excited because he feels like it's his last chance to get out of this bad situation. So
yeah.
See, what's your preferred game of chance, Marco? What do you play cards for it, or is it a roll of the die, or what do you do?
I kind of think it would have to be a roll. It would have to be like a neutral game, right? Because if he's the fights and I'm the cards, it would have to be neutral. So yeah, I think like dice would be the way to go.
Nice. Well, maybe just to mirror your amazing die roll here, like that's what happens. Like we see the 3 6s fall when Miss Cataby pulls the cup away. There's 3 dice and they're all showing the six ticks of the clock. Duskwall dice have like clock faces on them, and so they're all like showing 6 o'clock, and everyone cheers, and the guy puts his head in his hand like, oh, this is my chance to turn things around, and gone.
Nice.
So the green vests, the investors, they hoop and holler, and everyone cheers, and the guy just like puts his head in his hands, and he comes out with the keys, the big key ring to the place, to the building, and to the he has like a cage, money cage, in the back that he uses, and he hands it over and just like puts it in the pot, like, damn it, and puts his coat on and tugs his hat down and just like shakes his head like, ugh. But you can tell you got a crit here, so I'm not gonna like screw you on the back end of this. Like he thinks that he's not mad at you really, like he's just like bad fortune, he's just like, damn it.
And maybe I would even say like, well, certainly someone's got to keep running the fights. Someone's got to keep the ring hot. I expect you'll do that for me, right?
Yeah. He doesn't want to look bad in front of everyone. He's still got a reputation to maintain. He's got to make a living as a bookie or something. So he's like, all right, fair is fair, fair is fair. And he holds out his hand and he shakes it, but then he's still just like grumbling and kicking and like, goes and walks down the steps back out to the street. Like, oh, I had my shot, and I blew it.
Awesome. I celebrate with a drink.
So you actually get a claim. It's kind of a personal claim, more or less, but I'm going to add it to the crew sheet so we don't lose track of it.
Great.
So it is.
And I have, although Zeke gave a great name, I'm calling my establishment Up From Nothing.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Up from nothing. Make a note of that.
Yep. Up from nothing.
I'm trying to imagine that in real life. Like, hey, do you want to take an Uber over to Up From Nothing?
Be like, wait, what?
Up from nothing. It's up from where?
I think they just like shorten it, like the VFW, the UFN.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the U, like the university. Like, can we go to the U? Play some cards?
Good. Yeah. All right, I'm adding this to your claims map. Gambling den. And you can do it at the end of this downtime. You make basically when you have a claim like this, Marcus, it generates like passive money on the side.
Okay.
So we'll make a roll at the end of downtime here to see how much you've earned on your first week on the job or whatever.
Nice. Okay.
Pulling money from your den. And it also, like you said, it counts as a separate location for you to do stuff that's away from the lair. Cool. Nice roll. I guess your Tales from the Loop luck did not run out after
I
all.
guess not. I don't know how long I keep this up, but we'll try. Yeah.
Sweet. Careless Firm, do you have downtime activities to do?
Yeah. I'll do one to take down heat, I guess.
Yes. It'd be nice if somebody did that. How does Careless Firm do that? What's your action? What's your, like, how do you fix that problem?
I feel like, let me see if I have. Yeah, I like visit the church or something like that and have a straightforward meeting with them, like where like, there's too many people asking questions. If you could pull some strings type of thing.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Caro, the church official that is like the guy who worships you. He doesn't really have a boss right now because it was Dunville, evil Jim Carrey, you guys murdered.
Mm-hmm.
So the church is in somewhat kind of disarray. The cathedral is still blockaded, even though Miss Cataby rather took care of the demon problem.
Is it within my proposed authority to just say that he is the leader?
If you wanted to like tell him that you're putting him in charge of the church, that's a thing you can do. Like politically outside the church, whether the city council or whatever like acknowledges him, or if they decide to install someone else, like that would be on they would get to decide that. But internally, if you want to say that, if you want to be like, hey everyone, this guy's in charge now, you can totally do that. Yeah.
Okay.
And in fact, this gives you an opportunity while you're reducing heat here, I think, Jeff, if you want to study or survey or something like that, get a read on the room while you're there, you can maybe learn something about the church. So we cut into a scene where you're at the church cathedral, and we haven't seen this room before. It's like the meeting chambers at the cathedral where the church officials meet. It's this big long table in this long narrow room with huge arched ceilings and soft golden electroplasmic lights and goblets of wine and all this finery. One of the walls is crashed in because it was next to the cathedral where the demon tore everything up. So there's like a big hole missing in the wall, and you can see into the ruined cathedral. But Caro and the other adepts of the church have assembled, and there aren't as many. There's space for a dozen guys along each side of the table, and there's 6 here. There's Caro, there's 5 others, and I'm imagining Carol's firm at like the other end of the table, at the head of the far end. And there's all these empty seats of people that were presumably killed during whatever happened inside the cathedral when you guys were in the basement. And they're all looking at you. Caro is like obviously worshipful and deferring to Carolus. But when you look around the room, you have a chance to kind of get a read on these guys.
Okay. So just standard control, all that stuff? Or...
Controlled standard, yep. Survey or study. I think you could do either here because it's kind of falls in between.
5.
Okay. So you definitely pick up on the fact that Caro is the only one who is in this state of abject worship. The rest of them are willing to follow his lead because he's the senior guy and he's come up in the ranks of the church. He has a lot of respect. But you can see on a couple of their faces, we can get into who these people are if you care in the future, but their respect for him is slipping a little, it seems, because he is over the top. You critted him super hard before, and so he's gone from a pretty reasonable guy to like he fully like basically worships Carolus Firm as the savior of the church, and so all of them are like, I'm willing to follow Caro, but a few of them are like, I don't know, this guy's losing it. You can just see it on their faces.
Pick up on this, you said?
Say again?
And I do pick up on this with that 5?
You just pick up on this, yeah. You don't, it's not a perfect success, so you don't really like fully get what the deal is between them, but you can tell that.
Okay. I think I look around the room kind of gauging that then, and this is the meeting where I'm talking about pulling back some of the heat on us and stuff like that, and I'm picking up on
Yep.
I kind of pinpoint the people I think that are waning or don't seem to be fully committed, and Carolus just says like, I'm getting the impression that in this room we don't have full commitment. Now, you'll understand, as someone that believes very firmly in our cause, that kind of attitude, that kind of atmosphere really rubs me the wrong way. I would like to propose, and this is a command.
Yeah, I was going to say
that you either fully commit, giving me both your mind, your body, and eventually your soul, or you leave. Now, I should be very clear. When I say leave, I do mean that I will most likely dismember you into incredibly small pieces, the kind of pieces that won't be found. And if you're like wondering, your spirit will also be cut into small pieces. I do have these assets at my disposal, and I just have no patience, none whatsoever, for those of you that are here, but not fully committed to the idea of raising up my abilities and bringing on a new era of a time where we should truly embrace what we know to be true.
Wow. Sounds like someone wants a desperate command roll.
Who could that be?
So it's desperate. What effect?
So let's see. So it's Adept Caro is your guy.
Mm-hmm.
Seeker Cavell is the junior guy that you met with in the basement a couple times. That the dude who was sort of like, not bumbling exactly, but kind of a bit of a flunky.
Okay.
And then Elder Rowan is he's below Adept Caro in rank, but he's older. He's an elder. That's his title because he's just an older member of the church. I guess he's more like an elder lay person, and Adept Kero would be like more like a bishop or something like that. It's Cavell and Rowan are they're the two main ones that are kind of unsure and feeling weird about Kero's change. And you basically lay it out in front of everyone that they're gonna die and lose their souls and shit.
I'm looking between the two of them the whole time I'm talking, by the way, too. If I get 5.
So I think it's desperate because you're putting a lot on the line here. Like what if they decide to cut ties right here? Like, you're gonna have to murder all these people right now, or
Sure.
Are they gonna call your bluff? So the stakes are high. But I think effect wise, I think it's standard because Kero is on your side and you are a scary dude, but it's not great. They're not quite ready to fully believe it, I think. If you made an example of one of them or something, obviously that would change the circumstances. But as it is right now, they're like shocked that you would dare to say this more than they're afraid of you following through, if you know what I mean. They're kind of like, how dare you? Like that's their first reaction. Is like,
so I would need to make an example to push for great, you think?
That could push you for great. Yeah.
Do you think either of them would have like rolled their eyes or snickered or something?
I think Rowan definitely. Rowan, he doesn't roll his eyes exactly, but he's like, doing that like, oh, you've crossed a line. You're an artist of worship. How dare you talk to us this way? He's not saying that because he's sort of deferring to Kero, but he's having that blustery like, oh, in all my years I've never seen such insolence, that kind of thing.
I think before I roll then to give effect for that great effect, as he's like saying that, I stand up and walk over to him, standing over him, and just kind of look down into his eyes. And still smiling, obviously, the whole time. And then I just pour on my new effect.
Oh, shit, you're using your...
Yeah.
Using the mind beams.
And my voice, like, distorts and goes into demon careless voice. And I talk about... Like, it just, like, is a cacophony rolling of, like... You're but a fly. Like, how dare you speak up to me? And the fact that you didn't believe and I let you live is a slight to my honor anyway, And I just pour it into him.
Holy crap! Okay.
I like focus it for this.
I totally get you. Yeah, you can. I think that'll be part of the. No, like normally you can't quite control it that well, but you're kind of like. Well, actually, there's two things I want to do here. You're learning all kinds of stuff while you're reducing heat. One of them is, let's see, we don't need the goddess's favorite clock right now, so let me get rid of that. And the goddess's ire clock you have was filled, so I'm getting rid of that. And we're going to add a new clock for you on your character sheet here, which is, what are we going to call it? Let me get the right wording here. So forgotten gods, when you open your mind to the thought tendrils of a forgotten god, glorious visage, you may extend the thought tendrils of the god from your own mind to those around you. So I'm going to call, this is what you're doing when you use your power.
Yeah.
So this clock is called residual thought tendrils, I guess we'll call it. And that's a 4 o'clock. I'm going to fill it once here. So you do this, you pour it on and you smack this dude with, it's level 3 harm now, right?
Yeah.
Which is, it kind of is like it's catatonic is what the harm is called, but it puts them in sort of like a horror coma, I think. They experience like Lovecraftian mind-bending shit that like just makes them like twitch there and like drool and until they get treated.
I'm stealing that from my next metal band.
Horror coma.
Horror coma. Hello, Muskogee. We are horror coma.
Yeah. And level 3 harm to an NPC is like out of action completely, right? Just short of death. But the reason I started that clock for you, you feel like when you gave yourself to the goddess and first took on her power, something physical in a way, but also metaphysical, like happened inside your head and inside your brain. You felt the extended tendrils of the goddess like burrow into your mind, and then you've been using that power. When you use your when you use your death gaze. And this time when you use it, instead of the normal sensation of drawing on this great well of strength, you feel like one part of what's left sort of slide away.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have that access to that infinite well of power anymore. You've kind of like lost your connection to it.
Mm-hmm.
But once it's done, it's there. You've still got some residual power left to use this. So this guy, he arches his back, his eyes roll back in his head, and then they like cloud over black, so they look like your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And his mouth falls open, and his tongue turns black. His teeth turn black. And he opens his mouth to scream, but no noise comes out. And he grabs the arms of his chair and like shakes, has a seizure. And the others all avert their eyes. They're all like, oh, they turn away in fear and disgust as you do this. And Elder Rowan, he's totally effed. I'll just write horror coma next to his name. I'll remember. So, so now you get your great effect on your command roll. You can push yourself.
What's that?
You can push yourself for a bonus die too if you want.
Yeah, that's 2 stress, right?
Yeah, it's 3 stress for your power, and then it would be 2 stress to push yourself.
Okay, so that's gonna be 2 bonus dice then because of the Daredevil as well.
Right. Yes. So 1 for Daredevil and 1 for pushing.
Ooh, just a 4.
Whoa.
Wow.
Just a 4.
Barely. Good thing you pushed yourself.
Yeah.
Right at the end there. Jeez.
Not a great roll.
No super crit command rolls this time around, but it's a success. So you can see that you haven't changed Cavell's mind or the mood of the room exactly. They're still a little freaked by this worshipfulness that Caro's fallen under. They're still like kind of losing respect for him as a adept of the church, but now you can tell that they are legit super scared of what you might do to them, and that's gonna make them do what you want. Like, you haven't totally like changed their minds, but you've kind of forced them. And the bravest among them like turns back first and looks and sees Elder Rowan like still like shaking and staring upwards with his mouth open, helpless, and they all kind of look back and forth nervously to each other, and you realize like, yes, okay, we'll do what you want.
I would even say the mediocre success was basically careless mid-speech feeling that his abilities are finite, and that being like it kind of wavered his voice a little bit, and the effect perhaps was diminished.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good.
As he finishes, though, should we roll for the heat, I guess?
Yeah, and so you're telling them Caro's in charge of the church now. That's my command.
Yep. And
use your contacts with the city council and everybody to like get the heat off our back here.
Yep.
Cool. So I think we can. I think you can use command again to reduce heat as your action if you want to use command. That's
okay.
Totally makes sense.
And all that.
It's controlled, but since you're using the church as your ally here, take a bonus. Well, actually, let's just improve your effect. We'll just do another. We'll increase how much heat you reduce because the church has a lot of power over that kind of thing.
So that's great.
Great effect. Yep.
6.
Nice. That counts as a crit because of the church. So that's. I think it's 5 feet. Let me double check. I want to get the number right.
Not bad.
Yep. Minus 5 heat.
And then my second action is just as I'm leaving the church, realizing I'm stressed out, I ask for some alone time in the basement, I guess.
Yeah. That they do not stand up to you. When you go down, you go through the cathedral and down the stairs. You see the edges of the corridor. With the Miss Cataby commanded the Star Demon to go down into the catacombs, and it went the way that you normally go to go down into your sanctum, and it's shoulders, or maybe part of its body was too wide. It like must have been brushing the sides of the corridor. There are these burned furrows in the stone. Like the stone itself has been melted by contact with the demon. And you follow that down to where your sanctum is, and then you see it continuing further down into the catacombs where it must have gone. Yeah. What do you want to do down there?
Indulge my vice.
So what is that like now? Are you still trying to do rituals for the goddess, or are you doing something else?
Oh yeah. No, obviously I'm not. I guess for Carolus, believing that he, is a bit not quite worshiping himself per se, but believes himself to be of a position to take power and to be something more than just a deal demon, basically.
Chad has a fun idea.
What?
They're like drag the old man down to your sanctum and indulge.
No, but he's not that vindictive, I don't think.
Okay.
He also recognizes the value, and like his threat wasn't a false threat, but it was more of a like make a point type of thing as opposed to just purge.
Yeah.
I had not thought of this at all. I think for right now, if you're okay with it, we'll just leave it open, and I'm gonna try and decide character-wise what he would do.
That's fine. Yeah, you have the opportunity to indulge. We don't know how you're doing it yet, but
I think it's a closed door for our viewing purposes.
Okay. I look forward to finding out what it is.
Yeah.
It mirrors the first time, actually. I think when this happened, we didn't know what Careless was doing in the sanctum, and now we're back to not knowing again.
I'll think on that, but
That's
it's
fun.
definitely a new leaf for him. So you're right; it would not be anything she slays, but at the same time, I got to think of it. No bonus dice, or is there?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Yeah. Do I have to take the 6?
You do.
So I overindulge.
You do.
It's not that bad though to overindulge.
We don't know how you're satisfying your vice, but when you overindulge, do you attract more heat? Do you tap out this new form of vice? So like you do this one time, and then you're gonna have to find some new way of satisfying yourself, or do you attract trouble of some kind, perhaps maybe supernatural trouble?
Yeah, let's do that one. That's up the ilk of what he'll be doing, I think.
I figured it would be something like that. Let me make a note so we don't forget. Careless, overindulge, attract supernatural trouble. I can manage that.
If you have ideas too, John, let me know, because I don't have anything super locked, but it's something of the nature of like, I keep gravitating towards Mind Palace or something like that, or he talks or does some kind of ceremony for Satara, like against her or whatever.
That's what I was thinking too, that it might be Satara related, because you've been de-stressing by like building up your vengeance mojo.
Mm-hmm.
Even with the goddess, like the purpose of doing that was like mutilating these hollows in a ritualistic way to like try to gain some power from the vengeance goddess. And now that she's kind of lost to you, maybe it is you doubling down on that demonic side of you that we saw last time, where you're like communing with your demon self.
Yeah.
And maybe moving even further into that space. Yeah, I think that's cool if you're into that.
Yeah, I am.
Maybe we even see that. Like we said, we were closing the door on it, but I think an image there might be kind of cool where we see her shrine is destroyed. The room has been wrecked. Dunville and his people like ruined it before. But instead of putting the shrine back together, maybe we see your boot like crunch down on the clay figure of the goddess that's there on the floor, and it shatters into powder. And the flickering torchlight, candlelight in the room causes Careless's shadow to dance across the wall where the little alcove of the goddess's shrine was before. And Careless's shadow, we see the wings, these demonic wings form in the shadow of yourself. And maybe, we don't follow you this time with the camera. We don't go into the mind space and see it, but we realize that you've replaced replaced the goddess with a different power, your own demonic self. Which I'm seeing, if it's cool with you, Jeff, I'm seeing that as someone who's separate from you right now. Like,
Yeah.
It's not you. It's this thing you've lost that you don't have back yet.
Yep.
And it maybe has its own demonic ideas, its own kind of agenda, maybe. But for attracting supernatural trouble, I think what the audience does see, instead of following you into your mind, the camera swoops downward through the cathedral, back following the burn marks of the star demon down below, far down to the very basement, the canal level, sweeping back through the corridors to the chamber where the star demon has encased itself in the sarcophagus as Cataby commanded. And there's burned footprints in the stone. The edge of the sarcophagus where it slid the lid over itself has got burned claw marks in it. And whatever Carolus is doing is resonating through the ghost field. And that we see this demon, or hear the demon in the sarcophagus moan and roar as another demon, reaches out to itself in the chamber above. The star demon feels the threat of another demon nearby and roars inside the sarcophagus. And then the camera swoops deeper down into the canal through the black water, swirling down into the depths. And once again, we see the suspended demon eggs on chains floating in the dark, and the shapeless black form of Satara floating there. And she becomes aware. We see her look upward. And she realizes, wait, I know that taste of that power. I know who that is. He's back. He's here. And she becomes aware of you.
I like it.
Cool. Satara knows. Sweet. Well, that was a fun heat reduction. And I think Zeke has one more thing he wants to do before we get back into assassinating people, but maybe we should do that after the break. So it's about time for another break if we're good.
All right, let's do it. Let's wrap up hour 2, but we have 2 more left to go. So now's your time. Take your break or take ours. We'll be back after this.